They protected a human child, so Earth proclaimed their species under the protection of humanity. Color's mandibles stopped moving. That was the detail Threshvoron put in his deposition, not the number of installations paused, not the scale of what Earth had built in 8 years. The detail he kept returning to was that the Grand Arbiter's mandibles had stopped, and that in 200 years of service, none of his staff had ever seen that before. Threshvoron had pulled the logistics overview 11 minutes after the first flag appeared. He was careful. He checked 3 subsystems before he spoke. Then he turned from his screen. Grand Arbiter. Color crossed the room. The display showed the Tura logistics spine, the primary hub servicing 61 Sorthian military installations. All traffic paused. Reason given, awaiting authorization from a registered trade partner. Trade partner ID, Earth. Authorization type, standard customs release. As Color watched, a second flag appeared. A third. A fourth. 46 nodes blinking at regular intervals, waiting patiently for a confirmation that had not been sent. She had not built a weapon. She had built a question, and she had waited 8 years to ask it. I wish I could tell you it was the weapon that scared him. It wasn't. Stay close, this part matters more. 8 years before Color crossed that room, a cargo ship came apart 3 hours outside Merritt Crossing. Osai's desk was in Sublevel 6 of Earth's Bureau of Sovereign Welfare. 8 desks. No windows. 3 separate assembly directories listed the Bureau under different names, none of them correct. It was the kind of department that existed specifically so that things could be quietly, precisely recorded by people who did not need anyone to know they were recording. She found the incident log on a routine species welfare audit. 1 survivor, a 6-year-old human child, no ID, no registered transit record, wrong side of the lane. A Velhari station medic named Lyra had logged her as a medical emergency, not as salvage, and spent 11 days in most of the station's reserve power keeping the child alive. Lyra's administration sent 3 requests to reclassify the child as unclaimed cargo. Lyra filed 3 counter-requests. She won. The child, whose name was Kessa, went home. Lyra filed no incident report, sought no recognition, returned to her shift. Osai sat with the log for a long time. Then she opened a new file and named it. That was 8 years before the Sorthian Dominion annexed Shenvar. Color broadcast the annexation at 900 Dominion Standard, routed to all galactic feeds. The Velhari homeworld, 3 oceans, 1 temperate continent, 312,000 citizens, was now under administrative integration. 1 sentence. The tone was routine because for the Sorthian Dominion, after 31 species incorporated across 5,800 years, routine was the point. The pylons were already on the ground. The paperwork was already drafted. Grand Arbiter Davin Color had never reversed a single one. Earth's Bureau of Sovereign Welfare filed a formal objection within 2 hours. Color had it read to him by Threshvoron and dictated a 7-word reply. Humanity's position is acknowledged. Positions require standing. Then he scheduled lunch. The file on humanity was 7 years old, accurate when written. The galaxy has a word for that kind of accurate, it calls it expensive. Color's file on Earth had not been updated once in 7 years. Osai's file on the Sorthian Dominion had been updated every 90 days. The Dominion's military logistics network, 340 active installations, 180 systems, ran on a shared trade data architecture, broadcast openly to all registered trade partners for customs coordination. They had never encrypted it. They had never needed to. No species in 5 millennia had ever read it the way Osai read it. Carefully, completely, cross-referencing every node, mapping which administrative hubs, if paused together, would leave Dominion forces unable to resupply, refuel, or relay orders across all 180 systems at once. Earth had been a registered trade partner for 40 years. The authorization nodes had always been there. No one had ever asked them to wait. 4 analysts, rotating in pairs, working in shifts, updating the node map every 90 days as the Dominion's architecture evolved. Not a weapon. No trigger, no payload, no blast radius. A pause formatted as an authorization hold, attached to infrastructure the Dominion had never imagined anyone would spend 8 years reading. On her desk, a single index card handwritten. She had not looked at it in 6 years because she had memorized it the day she wrote it. It listed 3 names: the medic, the child, the aide who had nearly blocked the rescue. Color's 7-word reply reached Osai's terminal at 4:47 a.m. She read it, made coffee. The machine had been broken for 3 years. She used the backup burner, same as every morning. She did not appear upset. She opened Protocol Warden and reviewed the activation status she had maintained for 8 years. Then at 3:14 in the morning, by the time she had finished the full review, she authorized the next phase. Alone, at her desk. No announcement. On the 14th day of the annexation, the Sorthian Dominion's ceremonial integration window, the moment when an incorporated territory was formally locked into administrative rollout, every Sorthian military command screen in 180 systems received a single transmission. Earth's emblem. Clean. Centered. Below it, 2 words. Protocol Warden active. No demand, no threat, no signature. On Shenver, 312,000 Velhari citizens were waiting. Their bioluminescent jaw patches, pale amber in calm, bright in fear, were bright. Some of them did not know what was happening. Some of them were afraid because they did not know. The administrative pylons that had gone up in 11 days stood at the edge of the capital's skyline, new and unweathered. Thresh Voron pulled the logistics overview. He was careful. He checked 3 subsystems before he spoke. The first flag was the Chura hub. The second was aboard the cruiser operating in the Shenver system. Its resupply transfer stalled, cause listed as pending logistics clearance. Clearance routed through a relay node awaiting authorization from a registered trade partner. A 4th flag. A 5th. The flags kept coming, each one a different installation, a different vessel, a different corner of the Dominion's operations in all 180 systems, all of them the same, all of them waiting. He took 4 minutes before he spoke. Grand Arbiter. Color crossed the room and looked at the display. He said nothing. His mandibles, the precision signaling instruments that had moved constantly through 200 years of administration, 31 incorporations, 14 personal authorizations, were still. Thresh Voron answered 3 questions. Then Color asked a 4th, and Thresh Voron had to check a date. The date he found was 8 years ago. The date Earth had first registered its authorization node maintenance protocol in the Dominion's trade partner system. The registration that Protocol Warden ran on. The registration that had never been flagged, never queried, filed under routine trade maintenance for 8 years. I told him the date, Thresh Voron wrote in his deposition. I remember looking at it for a moment, then I told him. Color said nothing. His mandibles remained still. Osai did not use a formal hailing protocol. The channel simply opened, and she was already speaking, at the pace of someone who had decided on every word long before this moment. Grand Arbiter Color. The Velhari of Shenver are under Earth's protection. That has been formally true for 8 years. You made a decision based on a file that was accurate when it was filed, and I understand why your record is one of perfect accuracy. We spent the time since then updating the relevant facts. 3 terms. Full withdrawal from the Velhari system within 72 hours. Return of all detained citizens. Formal recognition of Velhari personhood before the Assembly. We have not fired a weapon. We will not fire a weapon. We are offering you the chance to record this as a misunderstanding between a stale file and a current one. Color's mandibles moved once. A small motion. The gesture his staff associated with him processing something he had not prepared to process. And if I decline, then it stops being a misunderstanding. She closed the channel. There was nothing to add. Threshvoron writes that he counted the blinking indicators on the display after the channel closed. He is not certain why. He reached 22 before Color spoke. He did not ask for a tactical review. He did not call a council. He said, "Pull the withdrawal authorization template." Threshvoron pulled it. Color read it once. He signed it. He set it down. "File it under administrative correction," he said. "No accompanying statement." Then he sat. He had not released the authorization hold. He had not asked Earth to stand protocol warden down. The display was still running, still waiting. He sat with that for a long time. The withdrawal order reached all Sorthian vessels in the Shenver system at 61 hours and 42 minutes after Protocol Warden had activated, not at the 72-hour mark OS had offered. The extra time was unused. The paperwork was correct. The ships moved. Before the Galactic Assembly, 7 weeks after the withdrawal, a clerk updated the species classification registry. The update took 11 seconds to process. She noted this because she had never seen the system pause before a classification change. Velhari, sovereign people, the first upward reclassification in 3,000 years. Humanity, patron protector class. The phrase administrative correction appeared in the Sorthian Dominion's internal records that same day. Threshvoron noted in his sealed deposition that the phrase had never previously appeared in 5,800 years of Sorthian record-keeping. The Dominion filed no public statement, no protest. Protocol Warden was suspended that afternoon, not closed, not deleted. Suspended. The word appears in the official record in Osai's handwriting, in a margin note filed under the Bureau's ongoing case documentation. Lyra the medic learned what had been built in her name on a cold morning, 4 months after Color signed the withdrawal. A colleague forwarded her the assembly classification update. She read it once, set it down, and went back to her shift. In sublevel 6, 8 desks, no windows, the index card was still on Osai's desk. 3 names. She had not needed to look at it. The display in Color's office still showed the authorization node, suspended, not released, blinking at regular intervals, waiting. The Sorthian Dominion filed no protest. They had read the word suspended carefully, and they understood what it meant.